So, hello and welcome guys to a new video on our channel. Last night there was a new trailer dropping, revealing all 6 concept rares as well as the 3 new secret rares, and in this videos we want to talk about this. My feelings as a competitive player towards those cards, and where I can see them being played or how good I think they are. This is just like a first impression video, so might be that I'm completely wrong. At least for black and blue I might have a good feeling how these cards are, but I think we will see down the line how these cards come out and if they are any good or not. So let's dive in directly. So here we are guys with the cards. I know that my camera is currently like hovering over the white card. Still, I want to read through every effect and give you my first impression of these effects. So starting with King Piccolo, and this is the first thing I noticed immediately. The card art is a little bit misleading here. I don't know why they did that. If you would just look at the card, you could either imagine like 2 characters being present again on those cards, or in the second case scenario, like the front character being the main character, right? However, it's different here. So the card is only the one in the back. So the red card is not a Kid Ku card, it's a Demon King Piccolo card. The blue card is not a FF3 Son Goku card, but is a purely Janemba card. What does this mean? Well, searchability is a little bit different with those ones. In the last set, we always had Son Goku versus something. So they were pretty much searchable by like the best leaders in the game, looking usually for Saiyan cards. This time it's a little bit more difficult. They all have the villainous trait, which might be interesting for Magenta. However, they can only be played in decks where the leader is the respective color of the card. So I don't know if there are any good synergies. I would say no at the first glance, or as far as I know. Yeah, and then let's go over the cards. So the red one. If your leader is red, your opponent has 2 or more energy, and you place this card from your hand into its owner's Z deck face up. This is something every concept rare is doing. Draw 1 card, something most concept rares are doing. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, it gets minus 20k power for the turn, then play this card from your Z deck at the start of your next main phase. All of those concept rares have in common that you immediately draw 1. The green lets your opponent discards, but whatever. You put them on your Z deck face up, and then at the beginning of your next turn you play them. They remind me heavily about the 6-drop Oop. I love to play in 3-Han, which is also like saved in your opponent's turn, and then comes back next your turn. However, these are even more different. So you pay 1 to get an immediate effect, and then in the next turn, you play them delayed, basically. I don't like this. I know why it is good, right? So let's say you're getting floodgated. You still have like 3-4 energy open, cool. What to do with all those energy? Maybe you are not a deck needing to spend that much energy on the defensive side. So maybe these cards will get you some value by immediately cycling through your deck and setting up a 25k single hitter for the next turn, which is cool. However, it also makes you a little bit predictable, right? So your opponent immediately knows, okay, there will be a 25k buddy being played at the start of your next main phase. Especially decks like Yellow love this, because they can immediately respond with SS Vegito, so they can immediately slap down the floodgate without you even being able to interact, because you need to play those cards, right? This might be a little bit different. Also, Cell Max has an interesting synergy here. He's even worse, and I will tell you later about him. So let's go over King Piccolo. Like I said, I don't like these effects. I don't like to be predictable as a player. I know that it basically is a free buddy for the next turn, but I really don't like them. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but my gut feeling is telling me that I don't like how these cards are worded. The red one gives minus 20k. I feel like we have enough minus 20k things in red, to be honest. So I don't feel like we need more of those. It is okay. Janemba has an interesting effect. It bounces something back to hand, ignoring barrier 4 cost or less. And I know that some people are really excited about this card and sell like, wow, this will be a blue staple, it will cost 100, 200, whatever. I don't think so. Because me as a blue player, I struggle with barrier, yes, but returning back to hand is dog shit. So let's think about this card and why it could solve some problems. What kind of problem cards do we have as blue players? Obviously 4-drop Sin. And I feel like this card is a good answer to 4-drop Sin, just to get rid of it, because Nova tends to not play 2 energy anymore later down the game to re-establish that card. So in this matchup, fair point, valid card, really, really good card. Gives Arinsu a huge boost as well, because if you're going second against Nova, you can immediately use your marker to activate this effect, bounce Sin back to hand, and then re-establish your Arinsu Goma playline. Cool card, really, really good in that matchup. But that's about it. If you're thinking now, oh, D-Magic hate, yeah, guess what, brother? You return it back to hand, and in the next turn, they will just pay 1 energy to re-establish again, draw a card, so they're not making minus. They're just minusing 1 energy, which you just use to bounce it back. So if you really care about the D-Magic hate being a thing, try something like the blue Goku Black counter attack card. I think it's Intoxicated by Justice. You're not allowed to have a blue extra on the field, but then you can just bottom deck something ignoring barrier. Done. Way easier. Way, way, way easier. And then afterwards that turn, you can immediately use something like D-Magic again. So just main 1 copy of this if you're feeling like you need this, right? And if you're not relying on something like a Z extra or something. Other matchups where this card might come up. Against Invoker, maybe? If they slap down the 3-cost Barrier Deflect Vegeta, blue can't really do something against it, and now you have an answer. If you're not Peter Dance, or if you're not playing against Peter Dance, or Rui, I think his name is called, also a European guy playing Invoker since forever, you will never use this card. And then what other targets are there? The 4-drop Barrier Bujin? Right, my opponent is immediately playing it while comboing it from hand again, so good job on trading 1 energy, I guess. The 4-drop Barrier UI Goku card, nobody's ever playing that card, I mean, what fucking ever. You could also spend that energy to just play something, attack with it, and then they need to block, and then it's gone anyways. So, don't get me wrong, I think this card has its place, but I don't think that it's that big how some people are making it to be. It's a nice tech card, it's a nice side deck card, it will be very useful in some metas. But let me tell you, in the new set there will be a 6-drop cooler. Also being able to be immediately played for 1, if your opponent has 2 or more energy, draws 2, drops 1, and then bounces something back to hand. The cooler is way better in most scenarios, because it can hit anything, as well as drawing 2, cycling faster, and dropping 1, which is really good for decks like Arinsu, for setting up Oberealms, for setting up Sparking Negates. So I feel like Janemba will be a 1 or 2 off in most side decks in a specific meta, but it won't be like the generic blue staple forever card, how people are calling it. I don't believe in that. Maybe I'm completely wrong and I have to say that again. I'm just telling you based off my guts feeling as a blue player, what I'm facing, how good this card really is. It is okay. It would have been way better if it bottom decks, because bottom decking is being out of sight. You will never see that card again, brother. If that would have been the case, like bottom decking something ignoring barrier 4 cost or less, then this card would have been really, really good. Because then you could make the argument of getting rid of the Goku barrier dude, of getting rid of Bujin, getting rid of D-Magic hate. It would have been so good, but returning back to hand, it's not it. It's not it at the moment. Then Broly lets you discard a card and then KO something 6 cost or less. To be honest, green has so many ways of KOing something. People will prefer the 5-drop Son Gohan over this card. I don't see this card being played ever. Vegeta is interesting. You can stun 2 cards in rest mode. Also Unisons. This will be a really good tech card. A really, really good tech card. And I can see that card being main decked by some decks, right? Because stunning something is sometimes even better than getting rid of stuff, especially if the stuff has unique, like Arinsu's Goma has, for example. It doesn't go around barrier, which is fine, I think. There are other cards that do that ignoring barrier, like the 4-drop Z Battle Son Gohan that came out in the last set. I think he is choosing ignoring barrier, rested, and they can switch to active mode. I just see Vegeta as a nice tech card, especially since it has Vegeta on it. I know that some decks rely on Vegetas, for example Potara decks, Or the yellow starter deck Majin Vegeta, right? They want Vegeta cards in certain areas, so this is another cool Vegeta card. Then the black one. The black one is weird. So basically, it can warp something. It's like the Kaini Gate, but in your turn. And then it comes back at the end of your opponent's turn. So not at the start of your next main phase, but at the end of your opponent's turn. The card being warped and this one. This card can be easily countered by things like East Kai, Koitsukai, or whatever. Because if you as a black player choose a 20k or less card from your side to potentially save overrealms, right? You can save overrealms, something like a combo attack, so you don't need to re-establish as a plan player, and then you can swing with that combo attack again. You get the leader effect again, you +1 in hand, and you still have 2 overrealms. Great, cool. However, if your opponent activates a Koitsukai, you just lose 2 because you're playing at the end of your opponent's turn. This will suck a little bit. Also, I feel like 1 energy is expensive for black still. Black is a color playing everything for free, basically, and investing 1 energy is a high thing for black to do. Black also does not have floodgates, so every energy open in black is usually gold for them, because they needed to defend themselves with token negate, power burst, and everything protector if you main that. So to play Cell Max will be a little bit difficult, I feel like. And then we have Omega Shenrong. It's a white card. It's really bad. Choose up to one of your hot battle cards when energy cost of 4 or less, or up to one of your opponent's battle cards, switch it to hidden mode. Then at the start of your next main phase, switch it to revealed mode and play this card from your Z deck. So it's temporary removal or hiding stuff and then play this. I'm not a white player. Guys, tell me how good this card is. I don't feel that this effect is really good. I don't know. So now going to the... So my overall impression is these cards are okay-ish. It's not like in the last set. In the last set, they were all really good counter attacks, besides the green one. The blue one was amazing, and you could also play them just for 1 energy as a 25k double striker. These cards are way more limited. They have okay-ish effects. They are predictable because your opponent knows when you will play him and will prepare for that. I feel like they are okay-ish, but not more. I expect them to be lower in price than the last Versus cards. However, these are now 6 compared to 5, so we need to see how the pull rates are. I believe that they are still horrible, but we really need to see this, right? It's just like, I don't think that these cards are that good, to be honest. They are okay, but that's it. And this is good for your wallet, right? So going over secret rares now, and I think this is now way more interesting. Let's talk about Broly. All of the 3 secret rares, I feel like, are good, because they do something that other secret rares are doing, which made other secret rares really, really broken. So this card, for example, for 3 energy, it's a board clear ignoring barrier, something red does not have at the moment, which is really cool. It has triple strike, which is really cool. And like SS4 Vegito, you basically look into their hand, you take 1 non-ultimate card out of that, so potentially a floodgate. And then every time you use a card in a combo, until the end of your opponent's turn, you get 5k combo power more. So this is like a weird mix of SS4 Vegito, of a board wipe, and like the old SS4 Broly secret rare. In the Broly deck, you can hit multiple times with this thing, because your leader tells you, okay, if you play Broly, place up to 6 cards under it, and then if you place X cards under it into your drop, you can restand it. So this can potentially swing twice with triple strike 40k and combo power all over the place, and you pick something out of their hand. So this is like potentially game ending, right? Do I see this played in other red decks? I don't think so. I think that SS Blue Vegito is the best secret at the moment, because it can recycle you a card from drop, a super combo. It kills something ignoring barrier as well. It sets up new overruns if you're playing a black deck, Saiyan deck. And it comes out in turn 3, costing 1 energy, so you can do a lot of more after turn 3. It feels like with this card you play it, and that's basically all you want to do. Maybe Vegeta can free play a Rosé, or maybe Vegeta can free play other stuff, like a Majin Vegeta, an Overrealm. But then you probably want to leave that energy open for a floodgate, or you're going all in anyway, right? And eating something like a time magic or looking at your opponent's 10 cards hand and they have like 4 negates could be really frustrating. Yes, you have the combo power on your side, but I think it won't really help you that much. So I feel like this card is a must-have for the Broly deck. If you're excited about this, you need to play that. It's the only correct choice. In every other deck, I feel like, no, not really. Not really, maybe as a nice surprise factor, right? But not more. Then my favorite of the bunch, this is like the Goku Black SCR. Finally, our second Black SCR we can play from Warp. Thank you, Bandai. After 29 sets, we get something like this. So this card is really interesting. Usually you play Evil Saiyan to end the game. You warp 1 life of your opponent, you make it impossible for them to play Battle Card Floodgates, or they're minusing heavy in hands to do that because you will just take over control. This card is different. This card is not a game-ending card. This card is more like a stall control card. So you establish it for 2 energy with Empower Black 2, so potentially 4 markers, most of the times 2 markers if you're not playing the archetype deck. And then it has every keyword you can think of. Critical Barrier Blocker, which is a lot. Revenge. And Activate Battle for 1, switches card to active mode, and it gets 15k power for the turn. Let's point out a scenario. You're swinging with your first overrun for the turn, they say, haha, Flying Nimbus. Fuck you. So you're slapping down this card, and you're swinging with that, and they don't have Release from Evil, which is cool. I will immediately point it out that this card is still a problem. Bandai, please. You swing with it with a 25k crit swing into their leader. Pressing Activate Battle, 40k crit, restand. So there will be another 40k crit. 40k crit swings are nasty. Your opponent will do everything to stop them. And then you just pass. And then your opponent has the following idea. Okay, there is a secret row of 3 markers, it has barrier. So I can't do shit as a green player against it, which I feel like is really, really good. It needed barrier. And then I as an opponent have to think, okay, do I kill this Unison now? Or do I swing towards my opponent's leader and ignore the Unison? If I ignore the Unison, it will do the +1 as an Activate Battle step to restand, having 40k now for the turn, and being a Barrier Blocker Revenge. So my big boss monster will die to this. It will just die. Or do I swing into Unison 3 times with 25k at least, while my opponent might have negates in his hand, right? So this card is a stalling card. It forces your opponent to think how he wants to play the next turn, and if he's able to finish the game, and if not, if he wants to clear that Unison. So it gives you another turn while also being very aggressive, and if they manage to clear it, they will lose cards in their hand until they have just 7 cards. You will also use cards until you have just 7 cards in your hands. However, I don't feel like it will be a huge punishment for you, because you can just use the cards in your hand if you're sure that you will lose them, right? And in the right decks, you're also playing cards from your Z deck, especially in Pan, for example. Your hand is basically at the end game just combo power, and you're playing like your Gohans and stuff, or your 1-2 overramps you have in hand. So I feel like this secret is really, really good if you're not focused on a game-ending SCR like Black Saiyan, but you want a more like defensive control-ish SCR that also goes around battle card floodgates. I feel like this card is really, really good. And I also love the art on that. So maybe I want to get a copy for that. I could see this card, for example, being played in Fu, in the Black Fu deck, right? In the past we had this like in archetype SCR, but I feel like this SCR is just better. It's also really good, like I said, into battle card floodgates, for example, into the Black Mirror, or into other stuff like critical 40k duel is not a thing to laugh at. I feel like this card is better than people make it out to be. And then we had the last SCR. This is like the most generic SCR I've seen. So we have Baby, activate main for 3, play this card from your hand, no energy restriction, no color restriction. There you go, guys, you have your generic white secret now. When this card is played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and switch them to hidden mode, so a board clear, not ignoring barrier, but ignoring indestructible. Zamasu, I see you. Additionally, if your opponent's life is at 2 or more, place 1 card from their life into its owner's drop, so it's a burn. And your leader gets 10k power until the end of your opponent's turn. This card is a weird mix of SS4 Vegito, of Beastan, everything basically, and it has an activate main, choose one hidden mode card in your opponent's battle area and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck, draw one card. So if you're afraid that you're playing into white with this SCR, you can still make them bottom deck the card. I love the artwork on that card. It's a little bit blurry. Yeah, this is like a better catch. The artwork is so fucking great. It reminds me of the Majin Buu, Cell, and Frieza SCR with all the other forms in the background. We just have babies sitting on a throne, flexing like never before. It's a good searchable card because it's a Saiyan, right? We love our Saiyans. It's also Vegeta GT card, which is really good. Yeah, I love this card. It's a dual attack blocker, so you can use it offensively, defensively. You can play it in turn 2 with your energy marker even, right? So if you're playing a heavy aggro deck and your opponent already brought you in the range of Self-Awakening and you're an untapped 2 leader, you can immediately slap this boy down, burning one of your opponent's lives, swinging twice with that, then awaken, put out more pressure. I even thought about this card playing in 3-Han, because it also burns, right? And in 3-Han we want a card that burns. We want burn. It also doesn't -2 in hand. It's also a dual attacker. It's also a draw 1, and your leader gets a 10k push combined with the Z lead at the 30k leader. If you don't even make it to your opponent, or if you can't even kill them, you still are pretty safe with your leader being that big. So I can also see this card being played by some decks. Do I think that these 3 secrets are the best secrets I've ever seen? No. Do I think these secrets are good? Yes. Do I see the secrets being played and surprising your opponent? Yes. I feel like every secret in this set has a way on how they want to be played, and I can see people play those cards. Especially I like the black one because it enables a new playstyle for black with the secret, right? I also love the white one because now every color has a burn effect. Every color has a 10k push effect if it doesn't work. So this is like the best combination of offense and defense. Yeah, I really like it. I don't like the concept rares. I love the SCRs, and this is my feedback. That being said, this is it for the video. Next week we will get the special rares and the god rare. If I would bet what kind of god rare it will be, I vote high on this guy, because this guy sells the most. This is the first time, by the way, we don't get a Son Goku secret rare where we immediately know, okay, this will be a god rare. So I feel like it will be Broly, especially because the artwork is not that great compared to Goku Black or compared to Baby. I feel like these artworks are way better, to be honest. Do we get a nice picture of those 3 cards here as well? Yeah, you cannot really see them well. So I feel like Broly will get the god rare. The other 2 already have really nice artworks. That's it from the video. Please share your thoughts down below. And yeah, enjoy and see you soon, guys.